Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stand. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news as we preview the Newcastle game. Will it be a reality bite, as some people are saying in the live chat? Also, is the rumours that Bruno's staying, are they true? And do Manchester United risk losing Carrick if they don't offer him a job soon with other clubs circling? We'll get into all of that, and because it's an 8 o'clock show, we'll get into your opinions as we always do. Get those in, of course. But let's start off by talking about this big game on Wednesday night. Isn't it nice? So nice, we played it twice. We played on Sunday and we're playing on Wednesday. I mean, this is what we've got to look forward to next season, actually playing regularly rather than having to wait a week in between games. So we'll get into the Newcastle game, because did you know that Newcastle have lost 6 of their last 7 games? Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Actually, I tell a lie. They've lost 5 of their last 6 games. So it might I don't know, beyond their last 6. So 5 of the last 6, which is not very good. But before we get into that, before we get into the preview, the show is powered by Boyle Sports. It's hiding my predicted lineup, and there will be changes because we have got injuries. We're doing something a little bit different with them on this, though. The United Stand team have been checking out some match day stats ahead of tomorrow's game. Sorry, not tomorrow's game, Wednesday's game. And we thought we'd turn it into a bit of fun for the chat. It's a little pre-match challenge for you. We've called it the Boyle Sports Data Decoder. So get involved. Let's see how your football knowledge is. Who am I then? At 16, I was introduced to the first team matchday squad for the Champions League against Atletico Madrid. When I turned 17, I scored in a stoppage time against Real Madrid under-19s. In 2021, I made my debut in a 3-2 win over Genk, and I made my move to Royal Antwerp in 2023, where I thrived. I signed for the Red Devils for 18.1 million and made my debut on the 4th of October 2025 and kept the first clean sheet of the season for Manchester United against newly promoted Sunderland in a 2-0 home victory. You know, for the first 3 or 4 points there, I had no idea who it was at all. Obviously, I know who it is now. If you've got Sene Lamons, well done. Well done. Pretty easy on the last one, I think. Moving on, I've got to mention that Benjamin Sesko, he took his tally to 7 goals in 8 games with his winner against Crystal Palace on Sunday. He's finding great form at the moment under Carrick's coaching, and he's scored all the crucial goals in the last 3 games. But will Sesko do it again? Can he pull the Reds 2 goals ahead at Newcastle tomorrow? If he does, and you've made a bet with our sponsors Ball Sports and selected their early payout, then you'll be in for a treat. Ball Sports early payout feature comes into play when the team you backed goes 2-0 up. Your bet is settled as a winner instantly, even if there is a change in that score. And of course, if you're new to Ball Sports, there's a bet £10, get £40 in free bets welcome offer available. Thanks again to Ball Sports for sponsoring the channel. As always, 18 plus, UK and Ireland only. Terms and conditions are in the description and on screen. Please bet responsibly. Okay, so let's preview Newcastle and Manchester United first. Some people think it's going to be a bit of a reality bite. You know what? Hey, I don't normally do this as well, but under Amrim on Boxing Day, I thought we were very lucky to win that game. Remember, we won on Boxing Day against Newcastle. I thought we were a little bit lucky. I thought Newcastle played really, really well, but they haven't played well since then. They've really struggled, and I think the first place I would start off with Newcastle is St James's Park is a difficult place to go. Well, not this season. Their home form is actually 12th in the league. They've got a worse home form than Brighton, who I think are Mr. Inconsistent. So Newcastle have played 14 games at St James's Park. They've only won 7, half of them, and they've lost 5 and they've drawn 2. So they've only won 50% of their home games. And like traditionally, you would say St James's Park is a really difficult place to go. Whereas our away form has us 6th. We've played 14 away games, we've won 5, we've drawn 6, and we've only lost 3. So when you add that together, 11 games out of 14 away from home we haven't lost. So we've only lost 3 games out of 14 away games this season, which is very good. And there's only one club in the league better than us, and that's Arsenal. So we're actually the second best club away from home when it comes to losing. So probably don't predict a loss for Manchester United. Newcastle don't win at home, and they have lost a lot of games at home recently. Everton at the weekend, Brentford, Villa, all this year. And as I said, we've only lost 3 games away from home. Can you tell me the away games we've lost away this season? Brentford. I actually can't. Brentford, Man City, and Villa. Yes! Come on! That's why I'm the fucking best. I'm not the best. I just like it when I get things right. I can't. That last few seconds was a very good insight into my life. I can be sat there in the kitchen on my own, literally talking to myself, going, "Get the fuck in, sit down." I got it. I did. I'm not very good at that sort of stuff, really, normally. But there we go. Anyway, let me show you my predicted lineup for this game, where we can delve into it a little bit more. I'm going to just shock you as well. I'm going to shock you here. Yes, I am. I actually think that Manchester United will not win this game. So I don't normally do this on a preview, and get in the comments if you're not watching live. Result in this game. So give us a predictor on this. Newcastle win. I don't know why I'm saying it as I do it, because you can't vote yet. Draw or Man United win. Get voting on that. Rory says, it's clear to me that we had the best summer transfer window. The difference the front three have made has been great. 15th to 3rd is huge. Credit to INEOS. Can I just block Rory? There we go. Blocked forever. We just don't need that shit in the chat, do we? It's like someone coming and pissing on your grave and defecating as well and throwing up. It's just credit to INEOS. Go. Get out. Get out, Rory. You bloody rage-baiting Rory. I'd rather listen to Rory Jennings than listen to that. Anyway, no, I do like Rory. Don't think we're going to win this one, says Andre Gomez. Yes to Edison, or was that more of a Ten Hag signing, says Jacob. I don't think Edison's on the arrivals this time round, this summer. And hi Mark, United Stan, hope you're well. Had a good day, buddy, says Daniel Thompson. You too, pal. And James says late bridge again, not happy Jan. Don't know what Jan means, but there we go. Credit to Amorim. Credit to Amorim. And anyway, just to go back on that summer, the last summer, who are you giving the credit to on a serious note? So, Vival, Sesko, Tony Coton, Le Mans, Cunha and Mbeumo, Amorim. Cunha himself said that Amorim was the reason he came to the club, and Mbeumo said it himself. So, where's Wilcox in all this? Vival, Sesko, Tony Coton, Le Mans, and Cunha and Mbeumo, by their own words, Amorim. So, yeah, I don't really think... you'll always get an idiot like De Boer saying not Amorim. I mean, do you actually listen to people? Like, do you actually listen to the players? Did you listen to what Cunha said literally last week? Amorim was the reason I came to Manchester United. Literally said it. So, you know, there it is. Is the Bruno Guimaraes story true or not? We'll get into that. I need to just, you know, get on with the Newcastle preview because there's a lot to get into on the show tonight. So, lineup change. Luke Shaw out, Mazraoui in. I don't care if Luke Shaw's got the two bob bits or a broken ankle or he's fully fit. He ain't coming back into this team for Mazraoui, in my opinion. So, I don't care. Hopefully Luke Shaw's fit and sat on the bench. But Mazraoui changed the game defensively in that substitution. I actually think, if you think about it, when Luke Shaw went off, it was about half an hour in, 25 minutes, something like that. They were all over us. They were all over us. They were having so much success down the right-hand side. As soon as Luke Shaw went off, we started to... Mate, call me a hipster. I am managing in the Baller League. But the point is, I'm taking a piss. Watch that game back if you can be arsed. Palace are actually controlling the game. Luke Shaw gets injured. Mazraoui comes on. We suddenly start to up the possession. You look at it, when Luke Shaw gets taken off, they've got about 60% possession and we've got 40. By half time, it's back in our favour. The game shifts with Mazraoui coming on. He has to start. Has to start this game. I'd be very disappointed if he didn't, because he actually did change the way the game was going. Obviously, Bruno was the real match winner and, you know, the genius. And can I just say, if Ricky is in the chat, did you know this, Ricky? I think it's Wayne Rooney, Ryan Giggs, and Bruno Fernandes are the only 3 players. Is it like 100 assists or something like that? I saw it somewhere. I do want to say this because it's important to shout out positivity when you can. So Bruno Fernandes is just the 3rd player since records began to reach 100 goals and 100 assists for Manchester United. Only the 3rd player to do it. So, what? If you are a Bruno Fernandes denier, what are you actually denying at this point? You're like the Arteta people who just wanted him out years ago and now he's on the verge of winning you a title and you still won't give him any credit. This is just stubbornness at this point. And people say, I'm stubborn. I'm not really. I used to give Maguire loads of shit. I like Maguire now. He has turned it around. But the Bruno Fernandes stuff is incredible. I mean, he's one of only 3 players since records began to score 100 goals and 100 assists for Manchester United. You literally can't be crap with those stats. You literally can't be a problem with those stats. We literally cannot be better off without him with those stats. And the funny thing is, with all 3 of those players, I would say the same thing. Obviously, Ryan Giggs and Rooney at the end needed to retire. But when they could actually play football, there was absolutely no conversation about we'd be better off without Giggs, Rooney or Bruno. There is no conversation. Towards the end when they drop off, okay. But not when they're in their, not when they're in their prime. So no, absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, let's talk about this team. So Mazraoui comes in for me. I think Maguire will be fit. I know Maguire, there was talk of him not being well either. We really need Maguire fit for this. I would not be confident with Yoro and Heaven as centre-backs at St James's Park. Not because I don't rate them. I do really rate them. But they're young centre-backs and it's difficult. So Maguire needs to be fit for this game. So hopefully he will be, and I think he will be. Obviously, Delot plays at right-back because Mazraoui is playing at left-back. Again, a little bit lucky. I think Delot was poor again against Palace. But we've only got one Mazraoui, so there's no one else to play right-back. Midfield picks itself. And then front 3 should be Mbeumo, Sesko and Cunha. I've got a funny feeling he might drop Sesko. I've got a funny feeling he might put Mbeumo up front and go with Ahmad, which would be crazy, but I might be wrong. I just was listening to what he said after the game about rotation and options, and I thought, you know what? Is that a hint that he might... And look, he might mix it up anyway because of playing on Sunday, but I think that he might. I think that will be the team, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was a change up front. I hope not. Sesko deserves to start. He's scoring the goals for Manchester United. But my prediction is 61% of you've gone with a draw. Sorry, 61% of you've gone with a Man United win. 12% of you've gone with a Newcastle win, and 27% of you've gone with a draw. Well, if you watch Premier League predictions this afternoon with me and Robbie on the That's Football channel, you'll know already what I've predicted. Robbie actually went with the United win. I'm going to go with a draw. I actually think we'll do well to win this game. We could win it. But the way we're playing in the last 3 games and the fact that Newcastle have lost 5 of their last 6, they literally cannot afford to lose this game. And I think it will be a draw. I think it will be a draw, which isn't a terrible result for us because we've built up a bit of a lead anyway. If you look at the league table at the moment, I want us to win, absolutely want us to win. But even with a draw, that would put us on 52 points. Villa are playing Chelsea. Liverpool would, probably beat Wolves, but wouldn't go above us anyway. So yeah, I mean, look, we've got a bit of breathing space. But I think we'd do very well to win at Newcastle. I think if we're going to win at Newcastle, one of 3 things have got to happen. 1, we've got to turn up and play like we did against Arsenal or Man City, which we haven't seen. 2, we're going to need a little bit of luck. Like maybe we get an early goal and then Newcastle just can't put it in the back of the net. Or 3, we get a refereeing decision, a red card. Which, look, I can say it. And I will say it. Carrick, in his last 4 Premier League games, has won 2 of them because we've had 2 red cards. Spurs after half an hour and Palace after 55 minutes. So it can change things, and maybe something like that could happen. One thing I would say as a positive, though, and I think this has gone under the radar, really gone under the radar, and I would praise Carrick and his coaching staff for this. I think our discipline has changed. And I only know this because of Boyle Sports, but like every bet builder I've had, I always put Casemiro yellow card in there because I always think it's an absolute, dead cert, right? He hasn't had a yellow card in the last 4 games. That's unheard of. So I think the discipline in the last few games has been really good. The flip side is our midfield hasn't. So maybe we're sacrificing yellow cards for less intensity, because maybe when Casemiro is picking up yellow cards, it's because he's being more intense. But we're not picking up yellow cards in the midfield at the moment. Ricky out. His time is done, says Parker. Ricky's a legend. Leave him alone. He's just got a bad take on Bruno. Could technically play Ahmad at right back or left back. What are your thoughts on that, says Jacob? I don't think it'll happen against Newcastle. And just before we move on, just talking about Newcastle, I was going to say this anyway. I don't really understand what's going on with them. They really should be in the top four race. We're 15 points ahead of Newcastle, which I never would have predicted at the start of the season. Never in a million years. They're in incredibly bad form. Looking at their lineup on Sunday, let me just get our lineup back on the screen as well. I'm loving this show tonight. Really, really liking it. Thanks, everybody. So Pope was in goal. Trippier, Tau, Byrne, Hall. Ramsey, Tonali, and Joel Linton. And then Voltemeda, Elanga, and Anthony Gordon. With a bench of the likes of Botman, Harvey Barnes, Murphy, Wizza, Willock. So, I mean, look, I know they're missing Bruno Guimaraes, but they're not really missing anybody else. I just don't get it with Newcastle. Maybe it's a warning sign for us next season, because I look at Newcastle's team and it's a better team than where they are in the league. They're bottom half. So I don't know. With new answers on a postcard, I think with Newcastle, maybe it is just volume of games, because they should be doing better than that. And that's why I think it will be a draw, because I think when they turn up, they're a good side. But for some reason, they're really struggling at the moment. And I tell you what, if we go and win there, which I hope we do, hopefully we play well. But if we can go and win there, I mean, we're just getting closer and closer to that Champions League football. So yeah, I'm gonna go with a draw. While I believe we won't beat Newcastle, says Andre, I also believe that Sesko will score. The guy looks absolutely on fire and feels inevitable these past few games. Tactically, put crosses into the box. Put crosses into the box. It's so simple. It's so simple. We've just got to get crosses into the box. Even if that means Bruno drifting out wide, put quality crosses into the box and we'll be fine. What would you say is the reason for the poor passing accuracy the last 3 matches, says Hand of Thrawn? I don't know. I mean, I think it's a fair point, and I don't know why it is in the last 3 games our intensity has dropped, our passing ability has dropped, and it's really difficult to see what the style of play is. I don't know. You tell me. But it definitely has. And I keep going back to the Arsenal-Man City games, because there's no point to talk about Fletcher or Amorim. Let's just talk about the Carrick era. Arsenal and Man City, intensity, little, remember that Man City game at Old Trafford? Like, there'd be like 10 pass moves, 1 touch, but like bing, 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 playing your way out of a press. We were so on it, and we were so good. And we could have beat Man City 8-0 that day. And we went to Arsenal and we came, we scored 3 goals and we deserved to beat them. The top two teams in the league, and we deserved to beat them. And then we're not playing football like that anymore. And I don't know why. Is it because the honeymoon's over? Is it because the training's dropped off? Is it because of that little mini break? Is it because everybody knows they're going to play every game? There's no complacency and rotation. I don't know. But maybe he's trying to get less injuries after Dorgu says we're getting relegated. Thank you very much. Also, what would you say? Very good comment, super chat as well, Hand of Thrawn. I appreciate you for that. Could technically done that one as well. There we go. Okay, let's delve into some of the topical stuff. So first things first. There was a story floating around tonight. Please do share the video, by the way. There was a story floating around the internet, social media this afternoon, that Bruno Fernandes is getting closer and closer to staying at Manchester United. Now, very rarely do I not know where this has come from, but I don't. Loads of people have been messaging me about it. Loads of people have been asking me about it. And I don't actually know where it's come from. So if anybody does know, please let me know, because I genuinely don't know where it's come from. However, what I do know about that story is that I've messaged a couple of prominent journalists who sometimes will not say anything and leave you on red, but they've said absolutely no. There's nothing about this at all. I don't know where it's come from. So is Bruno Fernandes going to stay at Manchester United? I mean, I don't really know where it's come from. So that's the first thing. However, I think when you listen to his interview after the game yesterday, he really wants to play in the Champions League. And I don't know what the Saudi thing was about. And I think with Bruno Fernandes, you have to start with this, right? I said a couple of weeks ago, I'm 50-50 on whether he's going to stay. I also said for 2 weeks at the end of last season, he didn't make his mind up. Like, he was clearly tempted by Saudi. And to this day, I don't really get why. Obviously, money, massive money, ridiculous money. But I would say Bruno Fernandes is one of the few players in the United team that I would go, he's not going to go for silly money. So I don't know why he thought about it for 2 weeks. I don't know why, because even if he wanted to leave Man United, would you not say to your agent, go and get me a move somewhere else? So I don't know. I don't know what that was all about. As much as he nearly went to Saudi last summer, I just think he's not going to go anywhere near it this summer. I really, really don't think he is. So I think Champions League football for Man United is going to be a chance. If we weren't in the Champions League, he's gone. So I think it really comes down to, in the summer, probably a lot of you, he needs to see what the project is. If they give the job to Michael Carrick and they only buy 3 or 4 players, I think he'll go. If they give the job to Luis Enrique, I think he'll stay. If they give the job to Nagelsmann and they give him 6 or 7 players, I think he'll stay. If they give the job to Carrick and they give him 8 players, I think he'll stay. So I think it just comes down to that. And he's not going to know these things now. So I don't think Bruno Fernandes is going to make his mind up just because of Champions League football. And I think that's where some people have got it wrong. They're going, oh, Bruno's likely to stay because Man United are going to qualify for the Champions League. It's like saying Carrick's going to get the job because Man United are going to qualify for the Champions League. I don't think that will be enough. And I don't think qualifying for the Champions League will be enough for Bruno either. I think it gives us a chance. I think if we hadn't, he'd be gone. But what you've got to remember is he's said himself he's going to wait till after the World Cup. So if he's going to wait till after the World Cup, it's actually the perfect time. Because by the time you hit the middle of July, you'll know what business Man United have done, you'll know who the manager is, and you can make an informed decision. You'll also know what offers are on the table for you. And if the offers on the table are Saudi, he'll stay. And if the offers are Real Madrid or Bayern Munich or PSG, I think he'll go. It's whether those offers will come in. For me, he's the best attacking midfielder in the Premier League, which makes him one of the best in Europe, which makes him one of the best in the world. And he has a release clause. So somebody might fancy it. They might fancy it. But there's no, I mean, he's not made his mind up yet. And why would he make his mind up? I think also he's not happy with the ownership, which he said back in November. But look, I would still say it's 50-50. What I've always said is Man United should be giving him a pay rise to make him sign before the World Cup. Because you get what you pay for. We beat Palace because of him. That 300 grand a week, how many points has he got as this season? If it's another 50 grand a week, I'd do it. I would do it, because 50 grand a week to make Bruno stay. Think of it like this. If Bruno Fernandes leaves, you get 50 million pounds, right? You save 300 grand a week, but you've got to replace it. So if Bruno goes for 50, his replacement's going to cost at least 80. So that's 30 million pounds you've got to find to replace Bruno, right? If you give him an extra 50 grand a year, 50 grand a week, that's like, it's about 3 million a year. I'd just drop a pay rise on the table. I'd drop a pay rise on the table and say, do you want to sign before the World Cup? See what he'd do. But no, I mean, obviously, there's nothing permanent there's nothing concrete about him staying at the moment. Lib says, do you think Damsgaard would be a smart signing for us, would be relatively cheap and can play in the pivot or as a number 10? I think it's a bit of a lacklustre signing. I wanted to be respectful there. He's had a really good season, but I think it would be a lacklustre signing to sign someone like Damsgaard when we're trying to move closer to the likes of Arsenal and Manchester City. So Damsgaard, to me, is not what we need in the summer. I think you've got to go for your big signings. I still think Anderson and Stiller are the top 2 to go for in the midfield. Obviously, I think we need fullbacks, I saw something today about Spurs that if they get relegated, it's a 50% pay reduction for their squad. I mean, there's going to be so many players available. Also, Newcastle, surely they've got to sell somebody. Unfortunately, Ricky does not know that stat and still continues... Sashi says, unfortunately, Ricky does know that stat and still continues his distaste for Bruno. Cheers from Japan. Hope you're doing well. Would you sign Bueno from Wolves? Do you rate him? Says Ross McRae Magician. He scored a cracking goal, didn't he, the other week against Arsenal. And he's a very steady fullback. Again, I feel it's a little bit lacklustre. I think if you're going to bring a right back in or a left back in, I would be going a little bit more high profile than that. I think we need to bring as many good players in as we can that are like inspiring and ready to go. That's just my take on it. Ricky will debate you on Bruno, saying that all his assists are proper assists, says James. That's a contradiction, mate. You might want to read what you've said there. Delow should be benched. Malacia in for crosses, says Zexin. Malacia in for crosses. Malacia in for crosses. Are you having a laugh? Malacia. This is the guy who every time he plays, I'm like, cross it, cross it, now cross it, cross it, cross it, cross it. Yeah, he doesn't cross it. Absolutely not. Malacia has got to be one of the worst people in the world for crossing. Terp says, is Malacia even alive? Geordie says, Tonali, Stiller and Hall bring in a few academy grade and we are good to go. Thank you very much for that. Right. Look, I want to move it on a little bit because I want to talk about Carrick. I saw something in the Manchester Evening News tonight, and it was basically saying that... let me just put this in the live chat. It was basically saying that Manchester United... It was basically warning Manchester United that they need to make a decision on Carrick soon because he's a wanted man. He's not done anything criminal. He's not going to prison. But no, it was about, it was basically trying to say that United need to make a quick decision on Carrick, otherwise they risk losing him. And what the substance of this is, pure opinion piece, by the way, is that there'll be clubs circling Carrick. And if Man United don't make their mind up, they could miss out. So basically, Crystal Palace need a manager in the summer. Nottingham Forest might need a manager. Tottenham need a manager. There might be 4 or 5 Premier League clubs that might want Michael Carrick in the summer. Spurs, Bournemouth, maybe even Newcastle. If they sack Eddie Howe, he is, a Geordie. So there might be jobs out there where they have, competition for Michael Carrick. And they're trying to say United should hurry up. And I think, you know what? I'm not saying the Manchester Evening News, I'm just saying in general. It's like that bloody Nathan Salt at the Daily Mail. Look, fair play, he's entitled to his opinion, but it's almost like a Michael Carrick cheerleader. The journalism around Man United, I just find it ridiculously hypocritical. I don't even know, maybe some of them aren't even United fans, maybe it's just a job, but like, it frustrates me sometimes because I'm sort of like, if people read that and believe it, it infects the fan base. Like, we need to make a quick decision on Carrick because there's competition for him. I mean, do you really think ex-Manchester United legend, in my opinion, Michael Carrick, is going to sit there managing the club who made him with an opportunity of getting the job in May and in April say, give me the job now or I'm off to Crystal Palace? Or in March, if you don't give me the job now, I'm off to Spurs. Like, it's just not going to happen. We don't need to rush because Michael Carrick might get offered the bloody Bournemouth job. We just don't. Because Michael Carrick is not going to go into into Sir Jim Radcliffe and say, give me the job now or I'm signing for Newcastle. It's not going to happen. It's more spin to make fans make their mind up now. And I've said it before and I say it again. The intelligent choice for the board, not you make your own choice. Your fans, football fans, are allowed to be flippant, easily led by emotion, led by results. Absolutely, you're allowed to do that. You're a football fan. But the board isn't allowed to do that. And the board does not need to make a decision. The intelligent thing for the board to do is go, that's interesting, tick in a box, tick in a box, tick in a box. But while we're doing that, we're interviewing these people and we're not going to make a decision until the end of the season. And if the board fall into the propaganda of the press and some of our fans, like they did with Ollie, they're idiots. As the owner of a football club, They're very, very happy to ignore us when it comes to how the club should be run. So don't start fucking listening to us about Carrick. You know? You ignore us about ticket prices. You ignore us about debt. You ignore us about the stadium. You ignore us about everything. So don't start listening to us now about the bloody manager. The club and the board need to desensitize themselves away from journalists and fans and everybody and just go, this is meant to be a best-in-class recruitment process. And if Michael Carrick ever knocked on the door saying, give me the job now or I'm off to Spurs, I'd say see you later anyway, because he's lost his mind. He ain't going to do that. Michael Carrick will respect the process and wait till the end of the season for Manchester United. So that's what we need to do. So I'm not worried about that at all, but I wanted to just bring it in because you might see that more and more. And look, I wouldn't be surprised if a Tottenham was looking at Carrick because he used to play for them and they're fucking shit. I wouldn't be surprised if a Bournemouth was looking at Michael Carrick because why wouldn't they? But that doesn't mean Man United need to be rushed into a decision. James says, sorry, I didn't read it back. I meant to say they aren't proper assists. Oh, so Ricky would say that none of his assists are proper assists. I think the sheer volume of assists that Bruno Fernandes has had at Manchester United and this season, there probably will be some assists that are a bit shit, but there'll be some very good ones in there as well. Hi, Mark. United are getting the results, but there is still 10 games to go. Don't you think we all need to calm down, calling for Carrick to get the job? It can all change in just a few games, says Trix. No, I think we will get Champions League football simply because Chelsea and Liverpool and Villa have all got to play in Europe and we don't. So I think it's going to massively help us because if you remember, it was only last year, what it's like to play midweek, weekend in March, April and May. It's bloody hard. And if there is a team in the Champions League spots not doing it, they've got a big advantage. So I think we will get it. I think we will get it. Yeah, I think we will get it. Do you think Ligt will be back before the end of the season, says Anshul? I mean, look, I said to you a few weeks ago about Ligt that I'd been told that United won't risk him before the international break because there's been a couple of setbacks. I think Ligt was trying to get back before the international break because it's the last international break before the World Cup, and obviously he's going to want to go to the World Cup with the Netherlands. So we'll have to wait and see. But Man United, it's come to pass that he will not be back. Man United don't really want to bring him back. So, I mean, there are still games left. Obviously, he's not going to play against Newcastle on Wednesday, but we've then got Villa and Bournemouth. So there are a few weeks left. But I think it's a long injury. It's a very long injury. When you think about Ligt played last in early December and he won't play till April, I don't think any of us thought that was going to be the case then. And you know, that's a broken ankle. You'd be back quicker from that with a broken ankle. So it's a very bad injury with Ligt. But look, hopefully it'll be back. It'll be back soon. When does Martinez go? Injury prone like Martial, says Cosmos. Zello should be benched. Put Malacia in, done that one as well. Mark, yes or no? If United players watch the show, says Stuart. I mean, mate, it's not something I've looked into for a while, but I know a lot of people watch the United stand, so it's a credit to you. But I don't know with current players whether that happens, but obviously a few used to. Maybe they still do. I don't know. Talking of which, I've pinned it in the live chat. This is absolutely incredible. So we've got a team in Baller League which starts 2 weeks tonight. We have an Instagram page. We're called Gold Devils FC. I've pinned the link in the live chat. The only reason I'm asking is please give us a follow, because in 24 hours we've got nearly 10,000 followers. So if a few of you could click that link in the live chat and just give us a follow, that would be amazing, because we could hit 10,000 like in next to no time, which would be incredible. So please do give us a follow. You can see all our new signings on there as well. Big signing, franchise signing, Bilal Sayoud, top scorer in the Baller League so far in the first 2 seasons. So any chance of a player manager at Baller League? I might run on for a couple of minutes in the last game if there's nothing to play for. But yeah, looking forward to it. And if you want to get your tickets and everything, they are out now. So it'd be great to see you down there. But kits should be out tomorrow as well, which you might see familiar. Anyway, back to United. If Casemiro and Bruno goes, can we get a video on a new number 10? In case Bruno goes, can we get a video on new number 10? Says Arsh. New number 10. I see what you mean. Yeah. Well, I've done a left back one. I've done a midfielder one. So I think next on my list was the right back and left winger, but a number 10 is a good idea as well. I'm sure we can do that. Yeah. Daniel Thompson says, I don't have Instagram, but I got my mum to give you a follow. Thank you very much. I've just been sent something here. Let me just have a quick look if it's anything exciting. Manchester United consider Bruno Guimaraes a crucial player who can be central to the club's future, and Casemiro has recommended him his signing. While contract talks with Newcastle have stalled, negotiations are set to continue. Is this source any good? Because I've been sent it by Matt, our producer, and AS. Yeah, I don't think it's a great source, to be fair. I know Beth was talking about it earlier, but his contract situation is 2028. It will cost about, I would say, about 60 to 70 million pounds. The only thing I would say about Bruno Guimaraes is, and I was having this conversation with somebody today, and if they're watching, they'll know who it was, and we were both saying we really like Stiller, and we were talking about Camavinga, and Camavinga did get linked to us in the summer when he played for United. Camavinga got linked to us quite heavily. Can you remember that summer when Camavinga went to Real Madrid and for about a week we thought we were going to get him? It was proper hot, like United are going to get him. I can't remember what summer it was because we've done a couple of deals that were good and then we got linked to Camavinga and people were getting really excited. But he went to Real Madrid. I feel this Bruno Guimaraes story is a little bit like that, where United get linked to a player for a little bit of time and everyone gets very excited, but it doesn't happen. Because the reason I would say this is Bruno Guimaraes is 28 and he's 29 in November, and it just doesn't fit in to what we want to do. I want to do it. I'm sure many of you want to do it. I do want to do it, but I don't think United's policy will be not to do this deal. They will not want to spend £60 million on a guy who's going to be 29 within 3 months of him joining, because he won't sign till August, will he? And then he's 29 in November. So we just won't do it. Financially, we won't do it. I think we should. I think £60 million for a player that's probably going to give you 3 good years isn't bad, but we won't go anywhere near it. And maybe we shouldn't go anywhere near it. Maybe some of you are going, hold on a minute, he's 29 in November, £60 million, don't do it. It's got, we shouldn't do it. But there's no doubt he's a Premier League player and he's a Premier League proven player and he's very, very good. I still think we should be going for Stiller, in my opinion. Will you be breaking out the waistcoat, says Ian O'Connell. I've got plenty of outfits ready for the touchline. 1 a week, different styles. Yeah. Da Pizza Man. Sorry, I called you Dab. Da Pizza Man, thank you very much for joining the members club and getting your badge in. Love that. Thanks for all our members like Daniel Thompson and Harry and Terp who are in the chat today. Thanks for getting your badge in. You stand out. Thank you very much. And also, there was a couple of other things I wanted to bring into the show here. Just getting sent a couple of things. Fabrizio Romano. Oh, okay. So Fabrizio Romano has said something on Bruno Fernandes. Here we go. He says, on Bruno's future, I expect the Saudi Pro League's top clubs to be interested again because Bruno's always been a top target. They want a player. When they see a player, they target will remain. And because it's very clear that financially it won't be a problem to reach an agreement with Manchester United. I mean, look, Fabrizio, again, not confirming that this story out there, wherever it's from, it's bullshit, okay? But he also said this about Ugarte. Ugarte is one to watch this summer. In relation to outgoings, there is some movement with clubs, with several Italian teams interested. I'm glad that's come out from Romano because, again, we were talking about this afternoon. We weren't. I was talking to somebody about it. Scott Hargreaves has been a member for 65 months. Cheers, mate. It was 2021, says Harry, one of our members. Thank you, sir. So, Ugarte, I think, is really interesting, right? Not Ugarte per se, but the reality. Okay, so we're going to sell Ugarte in the summer. 100%. he never plays. The midfield hasn't even been very good in the last couple of games, and he never plays. He never comes on for even 15, 20 minutes. So we've devalued Ugarte to the point that we don't even use him. We only paid £55 million for him under 2 years ago, and he's on about 150 grand a week. So there is a reality to the Ugarte situation, and it is this. I'm sure he's going to leave in the summer, but this is Manchester United. This is the Glazer-owned football club. We are not letting Ugarte go in the summer. We are loaning him. There is no sale of Ugarte in the summer. Because, all right, it's not Mason Mount. He's not injury prone. But there's just no value in him. What football club is going to look at Ugarte and go, oh, we'll give you £50 million and give you 150 grand a week? It's just not going to happen. No, nobody is going to give us the money that we want for Ugarte. It just won't happen. So I think it will be a loan deal. And I think people need to understand that, because I've seen some people online actually adding a Ugarte transfer fee to our budget, and it's laughable because no one's going to pay the money. And look, maybe somebody out there would give us 25, 30 million pounds for him, but that would be a loss on the books, a huge loss. So yeah, it will have to be a loan. And we have completely devalued him this season. His first season I thought was a bit up and down, but this season has been an absolute shit show. An absolute shit show. And we might have been wise to loan him in January, and like we did Anthony, and boost his value, but we didn't do that because we didn't buy another midfielder. We just kept him around like Xerxes as a spare part in case we needed him. But value-wise, he's got no value. It's got zero value in the summer. So it will have to be a loan deal. Al says he's devalued himself. Well, you say potato, I say potato. You know, the reality is he's devalued. So we're not selling him. We're not selling him. We can't sell him at a loss, and no one's going to give us what we want. So it'll be a loan deal. It'll be a loan deal that we probably have to subsidise by paying some of his wages as well. Because if it's the Italian league, they can't afford his wages anyway. So it will be a loan deal. But yeah, just a reality bite on that. US supporter, Carrick supporter, who's coming in and out, says Smitty. Outgoings, Xerxes will get some money for. Ugarte will have to be loaned. Malacia will go for free. Casemiro's gone. Maguire will stay. Delot will stay. Shaw will stay. Mount will stay. I think that'll be it. I don't think there's a... Well, obviously, Rasmussen, Rashford's deal will become permanent. Sancho will go. That'll be it, really. There won't be anything massive. Jim said we could loan him to Galatasaray. If you loan them to Turkey, they'll cover the wages. That's a good thing. That's the good thing about that. Yeah, definitely. Rez, welcome to the Members Club. Sir, you're an absolute legend. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Brian says Delot needs to go. Mate, Delot's not going anywhere. I saw another interview with him today where he sits there talking like he's bloody Messi. He's like, yeah, I think, it's not up to me, but I think Harry Maguire's a great player and he's one of the best in the league and we need him here next year. And I'm like, I wasn't even listening to what he was saying about Maguire. I'm thinking, this guy thinks he's him. He thinks he's here next year. He thinks he's a senior player. And he actually is. But I'm like, Delot should not be talking about players being here next season. He should be a player with shipping off. But Delot will be here next season. Shaw will be here next season. Look, I want to make it very clear. I actually do like Delot. I'm one of the people who puts his hand in the air and says, I said keep Delot over Wan-Bissaka. There was a time where I thought Delot was going to end up being, a top-class fullback. Quick, had a good cross on him, lots and lots of potential. But how old is Delot now? Let's have a serious conversation about Delot. Because I like Delot. I think he's got the right attitude. I know when he was at AC Milan, the feedback was fantastic. I think he's got, he understands what United's all about. But he's 27 in 2 weeks. So he's a senior player. And at 27, I still think he's 22. I think he plays like he's 22, and he's 27 in a couple of weeks. So that's the problem with Dalot. He's just not the player he was at 22. Is the same player now. He's just not developed his weaknesses. And actually, I think he's regressed. He doesn't cross the ball anymore. He shoots too much. He could have been a really good right back. He could have been a really good right back, but I think he's become an Everton fullback. Is he good enough to start for Everton? I almost agree with Mr. Miracle. I think at 22 he was probably a better right back. Yeah, I think at 22, he just hasn't become the fullback I thought he was going to be. That's the worst thing I could say. Is he just hasn't become the fullback I thought he was going to be. The attitude, the application, commitment are all spot on, but the ability just hasn't come through. And United have this terrible habit of retaining players that proper football clubs don't. Like under Sir Alex Ferguson, there's plenty of players out there that, Kieran Richardson, remember him? Was okay, moved him on very, very quickly. We don't move players on. We don't move players on. Number one, Addy Hater says that you read Telegraph's ratings if players signed since Sir Alex. Really interested in your thoughts. You would have to bullet point some for me because I think you have to pay to read the Telegraph, and I don't do that. Rating transfers since Sir Alex. Well, I think. What would you rate Luke Shaw? Because he's been here for 12 years and has played less games than Bruno, who's been here for 6 or 5. At times, he has been Roberto Carlos. If 6 is an average signing, I'd probably say Luke Shaw's been a 6. Because there has been times where he was really good. But then again, I wouldn't want somebody to tell me how much we spent on wages. Actually, I probably would. If I knew how much we paid in wages to him over 12 years, I'd probably put him down to a 2. I'd probably put him down. But the point is, there has been some good years, but I wouldn't say it was a good signing. Bruno, I think, comparative to what Man United are, 9. Maguire would probably be a 6, 6.5. Good years, bad years, but cost a lot of money. I'd have to have the list. Luke Shaw's not on about 80k a week, mate. You think he's on about 160 or something like that? Ginge had a go at you on streams, on stream taking Bilal. Oh, I'd love to see the clip, Chill. I'd love to see the clip because I would play the clip and split it and laugh. I'd just sit laughing going, ha, 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 ha. So if someone can send me the clip, I'd love that. Right, you know what? Give us a follow, Devils FC, in the live chat, Gold Devils FC, right? I got given a Baller League team. I thought I was inheriting a team with like 10 players. So I sign up. I'm like really happy. We're just changing the name. We're changing the kit. And I sit down and they go, are you going to do any transfers? And I went, I'll have a look at the squad. We haven't got a squad. What do you mean I haven't got a bloody squad? Where's all the good players gone? Oh, he's signed there. He's signed there. He's signed there. Bilal was the only person who hadn't signed for anybody because he'd had a few offers. So I got on the phone, had a chat with him, sold him a project, sold him a dream. It's been going on all weekend, and I got him to sign. I reckon Ginge was trying to get him. I reckon Ginge was trying to sign him. So, you know what? I'm happy about that. I'll tell you some stories about this, actually. It's a joke. But Rez says, watching since 2019, what a community we've built. Hope we will be united like this forever. Dedicating this one for the community and you, says Rez. Well, this is a bit of a after stream here, right? Let me just explain the situation I've inherited in Baller League. I've got nothing against Baller League. I can't wait. I'm excited. But basically, my situation is that if you imagine the Premier League and the season's about to start in a week and the transfer window is going to close in 3 days, you take a manager's job at Man United, right? and you come into training and you're like, where is everybody? Oh, they've all gone. And Bruno's thinking of going. That's the situation I was in on Thursday. I had to ring up Bruno, Bilal, and basically say, please stay. We're going to build a team together. I had no players. And everybody else in the league has kept all their players and are all doing deals. So even if I want to sign players, all the good players are gone. Well, not all the good players, because I've done some good business. But my point is, a lot of players had signed, and the players I had to try and get had loads of offers from other clubs. So if we do well in this, Rocky Bilbao can sit down, because this is an underdog story of Netflix will be signing this up. I tell you, bring it on. But I'll tell you what, it has really whet my appetite to get back into coaching, because I haven't even done any coaching yet, but it's the direct. I tell you what, I would be brilliant at Jason Wilcox's job. The business I've done from Thursday to today, I would destroy Wilcox, destroy him. I've been on the phone non-stop, talking to players, having a conversation, selling them dreams, using you lot a lot. I'm like, sign for me. We're going to be one of the most watched teams, one of the most popular teams. Deport Rio can sit down. Wembley Rangers can sit down. They've been doing it for 2 years. They've only got 6,000 followers on Instagram. We've got nearly 10 in 24 hours. We're going to the bloody top. So with the dream, I've got to fulfill it. Goldie, are you really managing a team? Click the link in the live chat and go and have a look at the team. It's there, and give us a follow. Thank you very much for that. Anyway. Back to football. Shaw has been inconsistent, says Emily Derry. He had periods where he was probably a 7, too many injuries, but has also regressed to a 4, especially going forward. Thank you very much. Mourinho once said Delo will be the next Neville. Found that from the Telegraph article I was on about, says number 1 Adel Hater. Yeah, but I don't disagree with that. When we signed Delo, to be fair, Galv says beating Wilcox ain't a high bar. When we signed Delo, he was wanted by PSG, Real Madrid, AC Milan, and another big club. So he was really, when we got him from Porto, he was really sought after. So look, I think he was a player that was very very much admired, and I think he could have been a better player than he is. But unfortunately, he just hasn't panned out like that. Yeah. Jack says, the day Ugarte goes, I'll be crying a river. Look, this does not bother me. Like, I thought Ugarte was going to be a good signing. His stats for recoveries and intensity were through the roof. And we needed somebody like that in our midfield. So, and actually, to be fair, it was an INEOS signing. It was nothing to do with Amrim. He wasn't here. Ten Hag didn't want him. It was an INEOS signing. And I backed it. I thought it was a good signing. But what I will say is that statistically, and I've said it to you numerous times over the years, they've done analysis on it. They've done studies on it. And basically, if you have a 60% hit rate with your transfers, you've done well. Which means 30 to 40% of transfers don't do well. Whether they be flops, average, or whatever. So, we all get excited about. If you think about over the years, most transfers we've been really excited about. And yet, in fact, if we took every transfer reaction show we've done over the last 10 years, how many transfers do you think we've done? Got to be in excess of 50. How many of those 50 have actually been a success? So every time we've been excited, this, that, and the other, we've probably been wrong 80% of the time. United's hit rate in transfers is shit. And we've been excited every single time. So, with Ugarte, it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm not surprised by it. I hoped he'd do well. But I don't think any United signing now, I would say they're definitely going to do well, because I think we've learned our lesson. Although, to be fair, after 1 year, this is probably the best summer we've had since Mourinho, when he had that first year with Zlatan and Mkhitaryan and Bailey and Pogba. Because in the first year, they all did really well. It was the second year where it went to shit. So far, Le Mans, Cunha, Mbermo and Sesko have all done well. So, look, hopefully that can continue. Please explain the league of the team you manage, says Ruler Explosion. Baller League, Season 3. It's on Sky Sports and YouTube every Monday night from a week on Monday. 12 teams, play over 12 weeks. You play each other in a league, one game every week. And then at the end of the 12 weeks, the top 4 go into the final, semi-final, final night. So that's how it works. And you have a squad of 12 players playing 6-a-side, and there's different rules in the half-an-hour game. There's power plays and stuff like that. Ginger's got a team. I've got a team. Mika Richards and Daniel Sturridge have got a team. Ian Wright and Alan Shearer have got a team. Idris Elba's got a team. Nico's got a team. There's SDS. So, yeah, it's a good laugh. I'm looking forward to it. What about when United play Monday Night Football? Well, I'll be doing United because that's in my contract. United comes first. Actually, to be honest, I will still be doing Baller League. I just won't be there. I'll be doing it from here. Because I basically said, if Man United are playing on Monday night, we need to be the 6 o'clock game. So I'll still be covering it. I'm going to stream it on my channel. But I'll give you updates here. We've signed 6 players in the last 2 days, and we've got 6 spots left with the draft live next Monday. So, and we've got some good spots in the draft. So I'm looking forward to it. Ginge versus Goldbridge Ball. We will be there. It says Terp. Get your tickets. It's going to be good. I want to see the ultras there. Right. Thanks everyone for watching. Great show tonight. Really enjoyed it. Loved that. Looking forward to the Newcastle game actually. Although I think it'll be a draw, I'm really looking forward to it. I think that the last 3 games in a way have been a little bit like Palace. It's West Ham. It's Everton. The next 3 games, Bournemouth are pretty much unbeaten in 2 months. Villa are going for the Champions League, and Newcastle at St James's Park is a difficult game. And then I think we've got Chelsea after Bournemouth. So we've got a good few tests coming up, which I think is always good, definitely. Thanks everyone for watching tonight. Really appreciate it. Don't forget you can check out Boyle Sports, who are sponsoring our show tonight. If you want to do your bet builder or your sub swap or any of that stuff, they've got that welcome offer of £40 in free bets with a £10 bet. Over 18, please gambleaware.co. Descriptions are in the link as well. I'm back with you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. We've got a press conference with Carrick tomorrow lunchtime as well. Stay safe. I'll speak to you all in a bit. And please do give us a follow through the link on Instagram, Gold Devils FC. It'd be great to hit 10,000.